Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. We have a special guest today who's going to be teaching us about safe and affordable ways to start a bank account. I know this is a big issue because, in my personal experience, I've dealt with a lot of banks trying to get all sorts of money from me. Um, really helpful information that we're looking forward. So we have with us tonight Kate Sanks from Bank on Denver. Welcome, Kate, and thank you for being with us tonight.
Oh, it really is such a joy to be here. Gloria, I'm so glad I reached out. It's a passion of mine to really support people like you, everyone to know that there's really options available, whether it's for getting a bank account or all the other things that a financial coach does. So I'll be sharing a little bit about that. And let's just dive right in. Before I put the presentation up, you can hear me okay? Great. Just wanted to put up a couple of guidelines that I think will help everyone. One is there is a lot of information, but please feel free to reach out. Gloria, of course, has my contact information, and you'll get that at the end of the presentation. Also, if you have a specific question that's very unique to your circumstances, I would ask you to not ask that question for two reasons. One is we do want to keep confidentiality here and recognizing the topic of money is very sensitive. And we also want to just ask more general type questions. Um, it would take a very long time to explain on a unique individual situation. Plus, it's really helpful to know the whole picture. So to do justice for a question you may have specifically individually in your case, I would suggest considering a one-on-one coaching session. And I'll explain more about that, but that's all at no cost to you. I myself am a certified financial coach, and I do work for Bank on Denver, and I have an amazing colleague. His name is Enrique, and we're very trained on all areas of finance. So I'm catching myself getting ahead of myself. So what I'm going to do is bring up the PowerPoint. Oh, one more thing. If you would hold, excuse me, hold your questions until midway and then also at the very end. I promise I'll give you lots and lots of time to answer, give me questions and to, excuse me, all this itchy suddenly. I don't know if it's this dry Colorado weather. I should be used to it by now. I've been here all my life. um, but we'll have plenty of time to answer your questions in the midway and also at the end. And I ask if you would just please put them in the chat. I will do better if I can see the question. I'm generally here really well, but just a little bit about myself. I lost a lot of hearing at the age of 2. And so I thankfully have hearing aids, and they're wonderful. I wouldn't be able to work without them. So I do better if I can see the questions in the chat. So I really just appreciate you doing that for me. And I'm so acknowledge each one of you for showing up. You know, you're showing up for yourself. And that says a lot. And I'm sure you've been learning how important it is to show up for yourself. Because the more you show up for yourself and take care of yourself, the better you're able to fulfill your gifts and skills and move forward and take care of yourself and your family. And so I just acknowledge you for being here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start a screen share. All right, can you all see this? Okay. Excellent. And you can hear me okay? All is good. Awesome. I love it when technology works. Okay. So our topic tonight is how to get safe and affordable banking. And like I mentioned, I'm a certified financial coach and I work for Bank on Denver. I'm moving my little chat box here so I can read the slide. So Bank on Denver and financial coaching. Please know that we do make talking about money safe. And you can feel very comfortable talking with us about money. We really understand that financial situations can be very sensitive. And there can be a lot of emotions, sometimes shame around the topic of money in general. So we really do the coaching in a way that helps you to feel safe. And we're also very informative. So we also help you to know that there are options available for you and you can have choice. So on the screen, on the second point, we do help you to improve your personal finances, whether that's, increasing a credit score or to decrease debt or manage money better. It could be you might want to save money for a car. Excuse me. So just whatever personal finances topic there is, we can help you. And what we're talking about tonight is how can you get a safe and affordable bank account? Please also know there is no judgment. We coaches have seen so many situations and we recognize again that dealing with money is very sensitive. And we have no judgment and we don't view any of our clients as inadequate. A lot of people just haven't been brought up with good information about how to deal with money. Also, please know that our coaching is client-led. And what that means is that you are the one to make the choice. We as a coach will let you know what options there are, but really you are the expert on your life, and we recognize that. We help you identify what healthy finances look like. And like I mentioned, you can realize that you have choice and it's up to you. We will never tell you what to do. Bank On and Bank On standards. This is actually on a national level. All 50 states have an organization called Bank On. And of course, here in Denver, it's called Bank On Denver. This is an incredible organization. And the goal of Bank On is to ensure everyone does have access to safe and affordable banking, such as a bank or a credit union. They develop what they call national account standards, and they are benchmarks for safe and affordable banking. And part of our role is to educate people on how can you get a bank account that is safe and it is affordable. And that's exactly what we'll talk about tonight. And the NAS, National Account Standards, does provide the criteria so that banks and credit unions that meet that criteria can be part of our partnership. And there's a list of all these banks and credit unions all across the US. And of course, Bank on Denver has that list as well, which we'll make available to you. Bank on Denver, who I work for, is under the umbrella of Bank On. And like I mentioned, we've got a list of banks and credit unions that you can check out. And again, it's always your choice on who to check out. And if you want, I mean, it's your option. If you want to work with a financial coach, you can certainly contact me, and either myself or Enrique will be your coach. And we are here to support you every step of the way to deal with getting a bank account, or dealing with maybe you've had a trouble in the past with having a bank account. And I'll talk a little more about that later. Very briefly, there are certain standards that have to be part of a bank or a credit union. And this is good information for you to know, so that you know there are options for affordable banking. The first one is minimum opening deposit. They have to require either $25 or less to be able to open an account. And also that there's 0 monthly fees, or if they have a monthly fee, that it can be waived. So one example is, of course, the making a direct deposit from your employer. We also require that there are no fees for overdraft or insufficient funds. And that's a big one. It's possible, yes. I love your expression, Gloria. And this is why we're here. We like to educate people. It is possible to opt out of overdraft fees if you want to. And the banks and credit unions who are in partnership with Bank on Denver, they are required to offer where you do not have to have an overdraft option. So let's say you might go to the store and you've bought $100 worth of groceries, but your bank account only has $70. If you're with a bank that you have the overdraft fee, the bank will let that transaction go through. You get your $100 groceries. Guess what? Then you end up with a very typically $35 overdraft fee. So now we have $100 groceries plus 35. That's 35% increase over the cost of what you paid. $100 plus 35. Whew. I know that's a big chunk of money. So what if you go to the bank, you go to the grocery store, you think you have $100, but you really have 70, and you have a bank account where there are no overdraft. You're opted out. You just don't have overdraft. Yes, when you put your debit card in, it declines. It's telling you you don't have enough money. So unfortunately, you can't buy that $100 of groceries. Perhaps you can take some of it away, bring it down to a balance that you know you do have. But the good thing is you're not going to be charged that $35 fee. And I also encourage you to know that through good cash flow management, budgeting, those geek words that people like me love, but through budgeting and through managing, you could know what your amount of money is in your bank. And that's actually, by the way, another good feature of a bank account is they'll let you know of a low balance in your account. They will send you alerts. So again, getting back to overdraft, there have been some clients I've had, they have had to close their checking account because they had so many overdraft fees. Perhaps they have auto payment to regular Netflix pay or subscriptions of different kinds. And those auto pays come through and then there's not enough money. Whack. $35 shot. And that 35 can add up to many, many $35. And that's where it gets really overwhelming and the fees get outrageous. But you can avoid all of that. So that's the good news. That's why I'm smiling. You know, I love it. There are ways to deal with this. So again, thank you for being here for you to learn about this. The next item on our list here is no low balance or inactivity or closure fees. Another core feature of these national account standards is the ATM fee is either $2.50 at the max or free within network. Also, monthly statements. If you get electronic statements, they're free. If you get paper, it has to be $2 or less. And the last core feature is that you can have free bill pay, online banking, mobile banking, banking alerts. All of that is offered and it's at no cost to you. There are a couple of standards that we strongly recommend that a bank or a credit union has. They don't have to have it to be part of our partnership, but many of them do. One is that when they do an online screening to see if they will allow you to have a bank account with them, that they may only deny new customers if and only if they have a past incident of an actual fraud. So what this means is that there are some financial institutions that will give people a second chance. Some of these organizations will accept alternative IDs. Some of them will even let you open a bank account online. That could be a big time saver. And then, oh, I love this too. Some of these banks and credit unions offer what we call credit building products. There are products that help you to build your credit. And in March, I'll be back here again sharing about a credit class, how you can build your credit. And we're going to be talking about how you can build your credit. And one of the ways is with a credit building product. There are so many advantages of having a bank account. Your money is really safe from fraud, and you will receive a notification if there's anything suspicious. You could save money as compared to alternative financial services. Excuse me. So let's say you're going to King Soopers to get a money order to pay your XL bill. That works, that's great. But you know you pay money for that, right? What about just going online and using a debit card from your bank account to pay for it? And you save time. I know all of you would love to save time. I'd love to save time any way I can. Oh, there never seems to be enough time in the day, right? Or you could get your checks cashed at the bank that you're at, or better yet, use mobile banking. And you can get prepaid cards over at your bank if that's the way you want to do it. Another advantage of having a bank account is you actually build a relationship with your bank. Gosh, you know, I love this success story. I have a client who has been with Chase Bank for probably about 14 years. And she's an amazing woman, but she has never had a credit card. She's always been able to manage paying her bills only through her checking account. That's not a bad thing, but sometimes it's nice to have a credit card. And so it was about a month ago, I think it was about a month ago, She went to her Chase bank account, and because of her excellent history of always managing her bank account, and I don't think she ever had any overdrafts, they actually granted her a credit card. And the available balance, if I'm remembering right, I think the available balance they gave her is $3,000. That's a lot. And here she's never had a credit card. Now, she does have a good credit score, yes. But the point is, she has this great relationship with the bank. Great way to start getting a credit card. Also, you can maintain control over your money. And as probably all of you know, when you have a bank account, specifically a checking account, you can get a debit card. And of course, I love using the debit card. At the risk of my giving away my age. Okay, I remember the time when people always use something called checks. Write out the check, mail it out. Oh gosh, now what is it? A debit card, or people are doing Venmo. This is awesome. Advancement in technology. I tend to be on the old-fashioned side, but I actually do pay a lot of my bills with credit cards, but then I pay my credit card off at the end of the month, or I'll use my debit card to pay. So the point here is there isn't the advantage of a bank account of having a debit card. If it does get lost, you call the bank, they shut it down, and no one can use it. And that's a good safety feature, as opposed to carrying around a lot of cash. And I'm sure we all know someone who's lost a lot of cash. So those are some of the benefits. Oh, and I love this one. You can tell I'm a geek when it comes to all this money stuff. But this is really important, and wow, what a statistic. I mentioned that Bank On does, we are under their umbrella, and Bank On does studies, they do research, and they gather data, and they have found that those who were unbanked, but now have a bank account, they are more like, I can't talk. I guess I'm excited. They are 8 times more likely to save money. 8 times more likely to save money when they have a checking or a savings account. I think that's awesome. Totally. One last screen before we stop for any questions. A couple more advantages of having a bank account. It really offers you a lot of convenience and sometimes a lot of time saving, like online banking or mobile banking, check cashing, the convenience of direct deposit, receiving low balance alerts, not to mention the other advantages that I just shared. So thank you for bearing with me, everyone. And I would love to hear, feel free, please, if you have any questions type them in the chat, and I will certainly be happy to answer them. Oh, I might mention also the second half of our evening. I will go into more detail on how you can get a bank account. And also, if you've had difficulty with getting a bank account, what you can do. So I'll be getting into all of that later.
Well, we're waiting for some of our ladies to ask questions. I've heard from a lot of people that there's this distrust of banks. What do you say about someone, or what do you say to someone who says, I don't trust banks. That will take your money. It will disappear.
And thank you, Gloria. That's a good question. And actually, on another slide that we'll be going through, but I'll answer that question. What I would say is a couple of things. And it's unfortunate, a lot of people have been either misinformed or they just don't know, or there's been rumors that are not true. Not to trust banks. Well, some people have had a bad experience, like overdraft fees that have been piling up. So they feel like, yeah, they're all about just grabbing your money. But when we can understand that also, when we can manage our money and avoid those overdraft fees, then, you're going to actually have that money back in your pocket. Another thing to think about is no one can go into your bank account without a court order, other than two exceptions, and I'll share that in a moment. Let's say you owe money to a credit card company and you're way past due, and they've sent you to collections. They cannot go take any money from your bank account unless they win a judgment by the court. So if the judge finds the person, yes, they have indeed really do owe the money, and the judge does something called garnish your wages, that can happen, but again, only through the courts. Now, there are two exceptions to that, and that is if a person owes money to the IRS, or if if a person owes money for child support, they can intervene. Often, though, that is through a refund on a income tax, not so much going into your bank account. More often is that they will intercept any income tax refund. And there's just, people's parents may have misled them. So we would just talk with them and, help them talk through and understand why are they distrusting banks. It truly is safer, but there is misinformation out there.
Definitely, definitely. So, ladies, if you have any questions, if you would rather unmute yourself and ask the question rather than type it in, please do so.
Yeah, that'll be fine. And just speak clearly for my hearing.
Oh, we have a question by Roxy. It's asking,
Yeah.
credit building product is better
Thank
to
you.
build up credit?
Thank you, Gloria. And I have the chat up myself, but I so appreciate you sharing. Roxy, thank you for asking that question. What credit building product is better to build up credit? Actually, there is not necessarily one that is better than another. It depends on a person's preferences, and it depends on a person's ability. Now, I'm going to be super brief here because we are actually, okay, build fast. This is actually, I'll answer this question, and I appreciate you asking. I will be going into much more detail next month on this very topic. But to build fast, there's a wonderful website called Experian Boost. It's through one of the three credit bureaus, Experian. And Experian Boost allows you to build your credit, get a higher credit score a little bit faster, because they allow you to put things on your credit report, such as a cell phone bill, Excel bill, water bill, trash, all the utility type things. They allow that to be added on to the Experian credit report, where normally it's not added. And I'll go into more detail on our next month on that. But to build it fast, a credit Experian Boost is one, but also there's different credit products like a secured credit card and also what they call a credit builder loan. Another one is to pay off your debts. So I see something else from Radwa. Sometimes, and please, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Sometimes people from outside the bank, easy to
Radwa.
hack.
My name is Radwa. Sorry.
Thank you.
No problem.
From outside, sometimes people from outside the bank, easy to hack my bank account and no control from the bank on this. It's scary.
Yeah.
I understand your concern. There has been, on a rare occasion, hacking, but it is so rare. There is also, banks will alert you if there any suspicious activity that's going on. And the banks could put a freeze to protect you so that if something does look suspicious, they'll put a freeze and then no one can access your account. For example, perhaps a person lost their debit card, but they didn't know they lost it. And now all these transactions are coming through the bank account. And the bank will alert you and they'll shut it down and they'll talk with you and get it reconciled. They very well will just shut that whole credit, that bank account, and then open a brand new one, transfer your money over. Also, banks will not have you pay. They will not require for you to pay. If you've lost your debit card and there's been fraudulent use, you will not have to pay that money. I want to say, it's been a while, but what I want to say is you don't have to pay more than $50, but I could be wrong. It may be nothing at all, but there are ways to circumvent and to protect you. So I hope that answers your question.
And is that part of the FDIC?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Well, the FDIC.
Thank you.
They do protect your accounts up to $250,000. So that might be part of the FDIC of why you would not have to pay that money. Yes. And then the credit unions have something analogous to the FDIC. I have that on one of my slides and I'm not remembering the name of it, but we'll get to that in a couple minutes. You are so welcome. I hope that helps you feel a little more at ease. So in summary, no one can get into your checking account unless it is the bank if they are taking money for overdraft fees, or maybe you do have a monthly fee. The bank will take that, but no one outside of the bank can access your account unless, like I mentioned, the court has given the judgment to the creditor to take money through either directly from your bank account, but more often garnishment from your wages.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, yes.
Can you give me advice? So if I buy something online, so should I use the debit or credit card?
If you buy something online with a credit card?
Yeah, I asked you, this is the good idea. So I use the credit card or debit card.
Oh, an
Mhm.
excellent question. Well, it depends. It really depends. It depends on what you're using credit cards for. Credit cards are great to use as long as you don't depend on them for purchasing everything, unless you can pay it off. If you know you have money in your checking account, you could use your debit card. What I do is I have a credit card that gives me benefits, cash back when I use it. So I put everything I can on my credit card but I pay the full balance off every month. So to answer your question, it depends if you have money in your bank account,
Yeah.
use a debit card, or if you have a credit card where you have a bonus like cash back and you can pay it back, I would
Yeah.
say you could use a credit card. It's kind of a personal preference.
Yeah. But I'm not sure, but something someone tell me if you use debit card, so maybe I lost information. So
Oh,
that's why I asked you which one this circle and yeah.
yeah, it is true. The possibility,
Mm.
although it's very remote, that if you use a credit card, someone else may be able to get that number. But it's true with the debit card too. So I think it depends on your comfort level and how much do you trust that you'll be safe and the unlikely event that someone will hack. If you're uncertain, then perhaps go through paying in a different way, and we can explore that. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
And I see Radwa has it happened with me and someone hacked my account and had access to my bank account using my personal information. Oh, and he stole your money. I understand that is a bad experience. That the bank would have probably contacted you, is that right, Radwa? And I hope that they contacted you soon enough to put a stop to it. And I hope that you were able to get reimbursed for that money. So, yeah, but I didn't get your money back. Oh, I didn't get my money back. Oh, it was wired. Yeah, I can't really talk to that. I don't know certainly the specifics of your situation. I'm really sorry that that happened. It doesn't happen often, but yes, it does happen. So, and I would encourage you, if you want, to contact me and we can talk more about that. I am not going to be here to convince you that you must have a bank account. The bottom line, it really is your choice. Yes, there are many advantages. And yet I also totally respect if you've had a bad experience, it's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. And you may feel uncertain going forward with another bank. And I see you added it happened with US Bank. Well, again, I'm welcome any of you to contact me and we can talk through it. Okay, well, let's go ahead and move forward to the next screen. And we'll have questions at the very end as well, okay? Gloria, do you have a question? Okay. Excuse me. Awesome. So common reasons why people are unbanked. We already did touch upon this. Bank On, again, they did their research and found out that these are some of the very common reasons why people don't get a bank account. Number one is they don't have enough money to meet minimum balance requirements, or they think they don't. I had a client a few weeks ago who said to me when I told him about he wanted to get a bank account, he said, but I don't have money for it. I said, well, you'd only need maybe $5 or $25. He said, what? I thought you needed $250. And there's misinformation that he had. So I explained to him, there are ways to have bank accounts opening up as little as $25 or less with the partners that are associated with Bank on Denver. Yes, don't trust banks. I can certainly understand some people have had a bad experience or they've been misinformed. There's a misconception that avoiding banks gives more privacy, or that banking fees are too high and unpredictable. Well, sure, they can be too high and unpredictable if you don't know, maybe a person doesn't know how to manage their money. Maybe they don't keep enough money in the account, but they have a lot of auto pays. And then when those auto pays hit, they get paid and then they get charged the overdraft fee. So in that way, they can be too high and unpredictable. But they can be dealt with, right? They can be avoided. And for some people, they've just had bad experiences with banks in the past. But the great news, I'm just realizing, I hope my chat box is not covering up the screen. Anyway, can you see the whole screen, the whole slide? Oh, wonderful. I had my chat box cover part of it, and I didn't know if you saw that as well. The great news is this. Bank On, with their national account standards, address these issues, and they do help you get banked. So this is great news. I'm going to talk briefly about the difference between credit unions and banks. And then we'll go into talking about what do you do if you do want to get a bank account. Credit unions are basically not for profit. They're owned by the members. And you will find that the fees tend to be lower than banks. The APR, annual percentage rate, like the interest that you earn on a savings account, they tend to be a little higher than banks. Although these days with savings accounts is barely anything, but it's better than nothing. Credit unions tend to be a little more focused on customers, and they do have many or all the features of a bank. There's such thing called a shared branching. And with credit unions, they may not have as many storefronts as banks, but they do what's called shared branching, which is like, for example, Westera Credit Union, where I belong, they don't have that many locations, but I can go to a different credit union and do my deposit or withdrawals with the other credit union on behalf of Westera. And that's called shared branching. So even though there may not be as many credit unions of one type, you can also go to their partners, their shared branching, and do business if that location is more convenient. And oh, this is the National Credit Union Share Insurance Fund, is what's analogous to the FDIC. For $250,000, they will insure your account. Banks are for profit. The fees tend to be a little higher. The interest rates a little bit lower. Their focus, certainly they do give good customer service, but their focus is more on profit than customers. And they have many branches. They have advanced technology, but I will say credit unions also have advanced technology. And FDIC protects your account up to $250,000. So really, banks and credit unions, it's more for profit versus not for profit. And we always recommend that you can check your banking history before you get a bank account, like the check systems or the early warning system. And there's their websites right here. This is what a bank or a credit union will check to see if they want to give you or allow you to have a bank account with them. Because they want to see what your history has been. Have you been able to manage money? Or has a person had a lot of overdraft fees? So I'll just share 3 brief scenarios. And in each of these 3 scenarios about how to get a checking or a savings account, we recommend for each of these 3 scenarios that I'll share here briefly to get your free check system and or early warning report. And you can work with a financial coach or on your own to see if there is a issue that you can deal with and to resolve this. You can work with a financial coach. You know, I will help you to get a bank account. And also, it's so helpful for anything that you do with getting or exploring getting a checking or savings account to check what are your options. What kind of features does the bank or credit union offer you? Is it affordable? Can you opt out of the overdraft? And do they offer the online banking, mobile banking, all that for free? It's good to know before you even walk into the door to see what are their features and does it agree with you? So here's the first scenario about getting a checking or a savings account. What if you had a problem with a previous bank or credit union? What we recommend is you resolve any issues with them. Perhaps you owe them money for overdraft fees. They might be willing to negotiate a smaller dollar amount. And once you get it paid and you get it resolved, it helps to then get an actual letter in writing from them that it is resolved. And then you could take that letter, and when you apply to get another bank account, you can show them that it's been resolved. There are a lot of institutions that do have what we call a second chance account. And it's just a wonderful opportunity for people who might have had a bad situation or maybe something out of their control, or maybe there's so many different scenarios, you know, maybe there was a divorce involved. And because of that, one of the checking accounts got overdraft. Whatever the case is, it can be resolved. And if you want help with that, you know, just reach out to me. We do have a list of accounts, a list of banks and credit unions that offer second chance accounts. And again, we can walk you through the whole thing to kind of just see, you know, is this a bank or a credit union you want to bank at? The second scenario is, what if you've never had a bank account? Well, that's okay, totally fine. You can explore your options from the list of the Bank on Denver approved financial institutions. And as I mentioned earlier, also getting a check system report or the early warning report. And before you do that, you want to explore, well, what options are there? Maybe you have good credit and a good credit score. You know that banks and credit unions don't always, in fact, most of the time they don't go by your credit score. They go more by the check system or the early warning report. So again, have a coach help you if you want, or explore it yourself. The third scenario is, what if you currently have a bank account and you realize, gee, I'm paying $10 a month service fee, and I want to switch to a bank account that I don't pay any fees. Again, we can help you with that. And you can explore, well, what partners of Bank On will offer you these options. And I will also clarify that there are a lot of partners with Bank On and also with Bank On Denver here in the Denver area that will meet the requirements, the core standards that have been set by Bank On, so that certainly you have the option for safe and affordable banking. There may be other banks and institutions, credit unions, that might also have affordable bank accounts. So it's not like all affordable banks and credit unions are only with Bank On, but Bank On does have a list of them. So it's really worth just kind of doing your research and checking it out, right? Please don't worry. If you currently don't qualify for a bank account, you can in the future. Again, it may take just resolving the issue with that bank. It may take learning how to budget. How do you manage money? Maybe spend less. Get into certain habits that work for you, like checking your bank balance. So, there are ways to do that. And again, we're here to help you. Part of our role is to support you in knowing what your options are and to support you in creating new behaviors that'll support you in managing money. So, and of course, managing bank accounts. So in summary, and I've given you a lot of information, and then we'll open this to questions and answers. But in summary, I shared a little bit about Bank On and Bank On Denver and the national account standards that have been set up by Bank On, and many banks and credit unions that follow those standards that allow you to have a choice of affordable banking and to make it safe. And we also talked about the advantages of banking and reasons, some common reasons why people don't have a bank account. We talked about credit unions and banks, check system and early warning system. And we talked about, well, what do you do to get a bank account? And what can you do if you have had a bad situation in the past? And I encourage you to know you really can resolve that in working in collaboration with a financial coach, or maybe on your own. You're, just welcome to learn about how all of this works and dive right in, take the bull by the horns. I know all of you are really smart, and I have a feeling you guys just know exactly what to do to get yourself going and keep motivated. So, I have my contact information here and my phone number. You can call me directly or email me. And I'd like to open it now. Thank you so much all for your patience on holding off questions. Feel free to put something in the chat or unmute yourself. I am hearing you really well, so either way works.
And Kate, I want to make sure that they know that this financial coaching that you're offering, is this free?
Oh, yes, thank you. I'm surprised I didn't mention. It is all at no cost. Thank you, Gloria. And you can have as many financial coaching sessions as you want. You are also welcome to invite your friends. We are here to support people because our passion is to help people gain better financial security. And so, like I mentioned, there's all areas of finance that we can help you with. And it's safe, It's confidential. We make you feel comfortable. Because we understand money is a sensitive topic. So thank you. Yes. So you're welcome to contact me and set up an appointment, and we'll go from there. And you're not obligated, but we do find having several coaching sessions is actually quite beneficial. Sometimes it takes a lot of time to create new habits and to pay down debt and to do things like raising your credit score. Sometimes it takes a little while. So any other questions or comments? Comments, I love comments too. We don't have to have it only Q&A.
Well, I would like to say this is such wonderful information. I come across so many women who are needing these resources and needing to know. And it's so nice that they can go on the Bank on Denver website and be able to access banks that are being very fair, right?
Yes.
In the way that they are working with people. It's so difficult. Almost dishonest, right? It's like, okay, we're going to let you overdraft, but then we're going to charge you,
Yeah.
for doing so. So nice to know that there is that option of no overdrafting, right?
Oh, yes. Thank you. You worded that so well, Gloria. It really is. It's a matter of people becoming informed. I mean, where do you learn this stuff?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, most people are not educated and they're not teaching it in schools. Most schools don't have this. So how do we learn?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, oh, you are all so welcome. I'm so happy to be here to support each one of you. And feel free, of course, other ladies in that Dress for Success, to check out the YouTube. And I'll just confirm with my supervisor. I have a feeling it'll be fine. But to spread the word of Bank on Denver, we're here to support you. And please, after this session, if you think of a question, contact me and I will certainly answer it. And depending on what it is, we may set up a financial coaching if you want. You don't have to have a financial coaching session with me if you have a pressing question. But we do find often there's a lot of different parameters, and it's nice to see the whole picture when we work with our clients. So.
Absolutely.
You're all being really quiet. Oh, is coaching? Oh, I love you are awesome. Excellent questions all of you are asking. Thank you, Roxy. Yes. Thank you. I'm so glad you asked. Coaching is available in Spanish. And we do have one coach, although she's not part of Bank on Denver, but I'll share with you now, there's a partnership that we have with the city and county of Denver. We have one coach who speaks French, and we have a coach within Bank on Denver who does speak Spanish. So Bank on Denver is in partnership with the city and county of Denver called the Office of Financial Empowerment and Protection. And you can certainly contact me if someone happens to need to talk to someone with French speaking skills. And then I'll put you in touch with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Any other questions, ladies? Okay, we're going to do the going once, going twice. All right. Well, I think Kate, thank you so much for being with us tonight and letting us know about these wonderful resources that exist out there and giving us a little bit more information about the banking industry, which, like you said, if we weren't taught by our parents, and so many times, even if our parents knew, they didn't relate that information to us.
Yeah.
Because it's such a taboo topic, right? To
Right.
about that the money situation, but how else are we going to learn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much for caring and for giving us such great information so that we can make decisions from a educated perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I also want, and thank you so much. It's such a joy to be here. And I want to empower each one of you to know there really are choices, whether it's to choose a bank or not. And if you decide not to, that's fine, because you know best. You are really the expert on your life. Feel free again, if you have questions, to contact me. And again, we support people in all areas of personal finance. So yeah, and that's what we do. So we do love helping people becoming informed. So yeah, thanks again.
Well, you're welcome. Well, ladies, like always, we go forth with courage, confidence, and belief in ourselves. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.